Hello, and thank you for stopping by the Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. I am Thomas Metal 75, and this is your Massachusetts Beer Reviews, looking at a fairly recent beer that came out. I think it came out later in, later in 2016. It is available year-round in draft and six-packs. This is the Samuel Adams newest edition of the Rebel beers, the Rebel Juiced IPA. Now mine says it is enjoy before month notched, and it says April of 2017. So not too bad. The Rebel Juiced IPA is 6.2% alcohol by volume. It's 55 IBUs, and it's ale with mango juice and natural flavors added. And I'm pretty sure that the Rebel Juiced IPA is the Samuel Adams introduction into these juicy New England style IPAs like your Trilliums, your Tree Houses, your Heady Toppers, those kind of things. Although Sam Adams did put out their double IPA called Rebel Raw, which sort of was along those lines, a kind of a hoppy, dank, cloudy, hazy double IPA. Now this is more of obviously that juicy IPA hop quality, although they're actually using juice, which is not traditionally what the Tree Houses and the Heady Toppers and the Trilliums and Night Shifts of the world in New England are using. They're really getting their juicy hop flavors and qualities from hops and not from juice. But I digress here. I am on the SamuelAdams.com website, and they say Samuel Adams Rebel Juiced IPA. Swirling with ripe aromas of mango and tropical fruits, this IPA is jam-packed with juicy, citrusy hops and mango juice. It's as if we took fresh hops and mangoes and put them in a juicer. They're using in this beer Zeus, Mosaic, and Mandarina hops. And they're using the Samuel Adams 2-row pale malt blend for the malt. Special ingredients, mango juice, and this is, by the way, 55 IBUs and 210 calories. So, not the hoppiest juice bomb, as a lot of the companies call them in New England. Plain Jane Sam Adams cap, but it's cool. I'm going to put it in this craft beer style pint glass. And let us get cracking. I saw the six-pack last weekend when I was at the liquor store with a buddy of mine. And I'd heard about this beer previous to that. And knowing how much I like all of the New England style IPAs, I had to jump on this one once I saw it. And I don't recall if there's an etching on the glass, but I think it almost looks like there is one. It is got the copper orangey color to it. It's kind of hazy, but it's mainly see-through, as you can tell. Unlike a really good hoppy New England style IPA. It does have that bone white looking head to it. And it's almost 3 fingers of head. And the aroma is all about the mango juice. You gotta like guava, mango, papaya, those tropical fruit juicy notes. Very sweet, very you can tell that there's the 2-row pale malt. You can tell there's bready malt in the background. There's a little bit of an oily component to the hops, but I mean, straight up, it's just the juice. I mean, it kind of does have the feel of a New England style IPA, but the juice quality is obviously exponentially ramped up. Not so much of the dank herbal notes to it. Not so much of the resinous piney notes or anything like that. But this is a juice bomb in nose. Let's try it in the taste. The Rebel Juiced IPA. Cheers, everybody. Yeah. You're getting a good amount of carbonation zing on it. I'd say it's a medium style body, and it's definitely mangoes and mango juice up front and foremost. You can get some of those floral hop notes. Get a little green earthiness. I think there is some amount of an oily quality to the hops. It's not really that overly hoppy at 55 IBUs, which, I mean, I like more of a balanced IPA myself between the hops and the malts, where I can taste my ingredients in the beer. But as far as a New England style IPA is concerned, usually those have more hop, more of a bitter taste than this does. There is some caramel malt or a toffee-like note in the background. It's pretty sweet overall. Again, it's medium. It's pretty crisp, clean, refreshing. So be better suited for a day that does not have snow like today in my area. A little bit of a spicy hop quality to it. I mean, when I compare the beers, and I haven't had them all, but when I compare the beers that I've had from Samuel Adams in their Rebel line, I gotta say that the Rebel Raw is probably the best one. Not only is it the biggest beer, I think it's 10 point something percent, but it's got the best hoppy flavor. It's got the dank resinous qualities to it. This is trying, again, yeah, this is trying to do some of those New England style juicy qualities, but for whatever reason, the New England guys just know how to brew a beer, an IPA beer, where it has the natural grapefruit, pineapple, I don't know, orangey, juicy notes without it having to have the juice quality added to it, an actual juice added to it. So, as far as a rating and a score goes, that's going to, play into a factor that I think they're trying to make it juice quality by adding juice, and you don't need to in a New England style IPA. So, I mean, somewhere around, I think a 82, a B minus is probably right where this deserves to be. I think it's right on the heels, the juiced IPA is right on the heels of the success and the popularity of all those juicy IPAs in the United States. And they're even getting traded around the world, and you'll see them up on Master Hoppit's page, anywhere around the world, basically, on YouTube and, Instagram, Facebook. You'll see photos of Trillium, Heady Topper, Treehouse beers everywhere in the world. Now, they're giving it an 81 on Beer Advocate, the juiced IPA, out of only 20 reviews at the moment. And it was added by a user on Beer Advocate on November 18th, 2016. So it's not that old of a beer in the market. And it's getting a 29 in the style of India Pale Ale. And as a beer, it gets an overall of 49. So not so great on the rate beers. But I think it's okay. What we really need in the market, this kind of does it, but not really. I think what we need in the market is a New England style IPA that can get some mass distribution. Now, there are some companies that do make some things kind of like a New England style IPA. I think some of the stuff coming out from Modern Times Beer in San Diego is that way. If you can get Samuel Adams Rebel Raw, it's a better version of a New England kind of hoppy, hazy beer IPA. And I'm getting a question from live on YouTube here. Is this what I've seen as Rebel IPA or a different variant? Varietal says poorly reviewed beer. Now, poorly reviewed beer, there are, and I'm going to go back to my tablet here, there are a couple of different Samuel Adams Rebel IPAs in the line. There's the original flagship Rebel IPA. There is Grapefruit Rebel Grapefruit IPA. There's Rebel Rouser IPA, which is a double IPA. There's a Rebel Cascade IPA, which is just made with the Cascade hop at 7.3%. And my favorite one is the Rebel Raw, their double IPA. They're 10% hazy hoppy beer. And they say that one is a big, beautiful IPA with a huge aroma and resinous piney punch, which they started bringing that beer out to the market in the following areas in the middle of November, and those areas are Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Iowa, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Vermont. So I think if you can find the Rebel Raw where you are, that's a pretty good Sam Adams beer. And I've only had the Rebel IPA, which is just their first introduction into the IPAs. I've only had the Rebel IPA and the Rebel Raw, and now the Juiced. I might want to try the Rebel Rouser and see how that is, but you're welcome for the information. Poorly reviewed beer. Check them out on YouTube. I think, again, I'm going to give this a B-. I think it's alright for the style. Erica Lions fan asks, would you put this as one of the better beers from Samuel Adams? You know what? It's a very difficult question to ask, or to answer, not to ask. It's a very difficult question to answer if I think that this is one of the better beers from the Samuel Adams brewery, just because, as we all know from their commercials, they make over 60 different styles of beer, and they're very new into the IPAs. When I initially tried this last week, I thought it was pretty great. And I mean, 82 is not a bad rating for a beer. And I guess my thought process would be, if they used less of the mango juice and they added more of a hop varietal, or they dry hopped it, or they did something a little bit more interesting, it might be a better beer. It's kind of just reminding me, I don't want to say like a Shandy plus hops, but maybe that is the best kind of a description. So, juiced is the perfect word for that, but don't necessarily think it's going to be a heady topper clone for mass market consumption, because that's not what it is. But I'm going to give that 82. I'm going to give that B-. It's just a little too strong in its sweetness and in the mango juice kind of quality, and not enough hops that should be there. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you, Poorly Reviewed Beer. Thank you, Erica Lions fans, for all the comments and questions. We are at the 15-minute mark coming up here. And I will say until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. See you soon.